Since 1984, this Canadian American has hosted over 7,000 episodes of the quiz show Jeopardy.
Welcome to Plain English, the podcast that goes at the right speed for English language learners. Listen now and read the transcript online at plainenglish.com. Now, here's Jeff, your host for today's episode.
If you answered, "Who is Alex Trebek?" then you know what today's episode is going to be about. If you're a little confused right now, that's okay. I'll explain in a little bit. Hi again, this is Jeff. JR is the producer, and it is time for my favorite part of the week once again. That would be when I get to sit down here in my little homemade makeshift studio, turn on my mixing board, turn on my digital recorder, plug in like 27 cables, and talk to all of you, the best audience in the world. It really is my favorite time of the week. If you're new to the show, this is Plain English, the best podcast for learning English through current events. Today is episode 141 for Thursday, March 28th, 2019. You can find the full transcript of today's program at plainenglish.com/141. As always, our transcripts include instant translations from English to Portuguese, Spanish, Japanese, Italian, French, and Chinese. In addition to the transcripts, we have some additional resources for our email subscribers. Anyone on the email list gets a summary of every episode, an explanation of one additional word or phrase from the episode, and links to English articles about the main topic. So if you really like the topic on one episode, you can click the links and read more about it. The best thing about it is it's free. Just go to plainenglish.com/mail, M-A-I-L. Enter your details and you will be signed up. plainenglish.com/mail. You can also send me a WhatsApp. I send out a message to my WhatsApp contacts every so often. Sometimes it's a relevant video clip about an episode or just a question. It's just an additional fun way to stay in touch with so many of you. If you use WhatsApp, just send me a message to +1 312 967 8757. Every Monday through Friday for the last 35 years, Alex Trebek keeps millions of Americans company around dinner time. He is the host of a quiz show called Jeopardy. A lot has changed in the world since September 17th, 1984, but through it all, Alex Trebek has been a steady voice in our living rooms, bedrooms, and kitchens. Why are we talking about Alex Trebek and Jeopardy today? Unfortunately, the 78-year-old game show host announced in a video to his viewers that he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And fans around the country are devastated to know that this one mainstay of evening time in America may not be with us forever after all. Alex, and everyone calls him Alex, so I will here too, He has been the host of Jeopardy ever since the first version of the show premiered in 1984. He has hosted over 7,000 shows. In most parts of the United States, Jeopardy comes on at 7 o'clock in the evening, usually after the national news on ABC. The catchy theme song, the announcer's voice at the show's opening, Alex Trebek's steady voice, and even the show's sound effects have been our companions as we make dinner or settle down for the evening. It is hard to overstate what a big part of American life this show has become. The theme song is practically synonymous with thinking up the answer to a hard question. The show almost represents the wholesomeness of family life. Some people would watch it religiously. Every night, they'd make sure to put Jeopardy on and watch all the clues. My grandmother was like that. Other people would have it on in the background as they prepare dinner or do the dishes, calling out the responses before the contestants. Of course, millions of Americans think they're good enough to be on the show, even if only a couple hundred are in any given year. Hey, you should be on Jeopardy! That's a great compliment to give someone who knows a lot of facts, a lot of trivia. Because watching Jeopardy is such a ritual and such a rock in daily life, people notice the slightest change to the show's rules or format. Alex sent shockwaves through the nation when he shaved his mustache. Alex is someone people like and trust. He seems timeless. He doesn't seem to age. He always seems to be this grandfatherly authority figure that's just always there. By the way, here's how Jeopardy goes. There are 2 rounds of 30 clues each, followed by a final question to decide the winner. The clues are arranged in categories. The categories might be chemistry, or movies, or French phrases, or geography, things like that. But here's the tricky thing about Jeopardy. The clues are statements, and the contestants have to respond by asking a question that the clue answers. Now, the clues are written in a way that there really is only one correct response. For example, the answer given on the screen might be, "This is Africa's longest river." Then the contestants would have to answer, "What is the Nile River?" Got it? The contestants have to form a question that the clue answers. The clue was, "This is Africa's longest river." And the only question that could correspond to this answer is, "What is the Nile River?" So that is the correct response. Let's try another one to make sure you get it. Imagine the clue is this. This technology CEO demonstrated his company's new touchscreen phone in January 2007. The correct response would be, "Who is Steve Jobs?" Here are some characteristics of Alex Trebek in no particular order. He is always impeccably dressed. He's really sharp. He's prepared for every show. His pronunciation is excellent. He has to know how to say all kinds of difficult words and names of people and places and he never stumbles. He never gets it wrong. Alex Trebek is always nice to the contestants. He tries not to be too hard on people when they get an answer wrong. There's a brief time for interviews with the contestants, and he's always gracious toward them, asking them about their lives and giving the viewers a little window into the three contestants. Here's a big thing. He doesn't make the show about himself. He has said in interviews that people watch for the clues and the answers. So the most important thing is the content of the show, not the host. He never makes it about himself. He is the authority figure on the show. He's in command of what goes on, and he keeps the show moving. Alex Trebek has never been the subject of any kind of public scandal. You have never, ever seen his name associated with any type of gossip or controversy. He doesn't get involved in politics or make any type of controversial statements. That's really something in today's world, especially in show business. In keeping with his preference not to be the topic of gossip or news articles, he released a video announcing his health news himself. He was his usual self, well-dressed, speaking in a clear, even voice, announcing to the world that he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He even cracked a bit of a self-deprecating joke, saying that he has to beat this cancer since he is required by his contract to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. Alex did take a little time off for treatment, but he didn't miss an episode, and he's back recording new episodes of the show. He sent out another video to supporters, thanking them for the outpouring of support that they showed. I remember when I was growing up, we didn't watch a whole lot of TV, but my mom would put the local news on starting around 5 o'clock. And that would be on in the background for a couple of hours, and then we'd go and have dinner. And by 7 o'clock, as we were doing dishes or whatnot, Jeopardy would be on. And I think that's how a lot of people watched it, just going about your business and catching bits and pieces of it on most days. On the Jeopardy website, they have a test you can take to see if you might have some talent to be on the show. I took that quiz as I was preparing for this episode. There were 30 questions, and I got 13 of them right, so less than half. And for the record, I have never thought I knew enough to be on the show. Hey, I wanted to remind you about Você Lingua, and I wanted to tell you about one of its great features. So I've mentioned before that they have a huge library of vocabulary for you to learn, 6,000 words. But it's not always good to memorize a word without any context. And the great thing about Você Lingua's vocabulary programs is that they put a word in a real context, kind of like what we do here with the expressions. The reason you remember them is because it came up in the context of an interesting program, so it's easier to remember. And that's the way Você Lingua's vocabulary is like on the Você Lingua web program. You can learn all about this by going to plainenglish.com/learn, LEARN. Today I want to show you different ways to use the word in command, or just command. Earlier today you heard that Alex Trebek is always in command of the show Jeopardy. To be in command means to have control of something, to be in charge. The person who is in command is confident, knows what's going on, doesn't put up with any troublemaking from anyone else. From the moment Alex Trebek walks on stage, you know who's in charge. He's nice, but you know he is in command. He's the one in control once the show starts. When there's an emergency or a difficult situation, you want someone who can be in command, someone who knows what's going on, who has the confidence to be in charge and to get stuff done. Sometimes there's nobody in charge, so someone has to take command of a situation. We've all been in situations like that, right? You're in a situation and you just need a leader, but nobody steps up. What you really need is for someone to take command of the situation, to put him or herself in charge, to make decisions and get things under control. Another common way to use in command is with the phrase second in command. That means like the second most important person, or the person just below the one who's in charge. It is often said that the vice president in the United States is second in command. If the president dies or resigns his office, then the vice president becomes the president. For that reason, he is the second in command. At big companies, the CEO is usually the top officer, but the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, is sometimes considered the second in command. JR would be considered the second in command of this program. If for some reason I couldn't continue doing plain English, then JR would take over since he is second in command around here. In other words, you'd better hope nothing happens to me. All right, that's all for today's episode. Thanks again for being part of the best audience in the world. JR and I will be back on Monday for another episode. Don't forget our partner Você Lingua, which you can find at plainenglish.com/learn. 6,000 vocabulary words, all in context. That's something. plainenglish.com/learn. LEARN. See you Monday.